It's Tuesday, August 11, and here is your stimulus package and stimulus check update. Or at least it would be if we had one. Talks are still stalled on Capitol Hill. The president signed those 4 executive orders, but it's becoming more and more apparent that, particularly as it pertains to the $300 plus up on unemployment, it's not really workable for most of the states. It only would go into effect if the state ponies up the first $100 of it, which would be 25%. But a lot of the states just don't have the money. Now, they can apply for a waiver from the federal government, but whether that will be forthcoming is to be seen. As to talks, Steve Mnuchin was on Fox News on Sunday, and he still signaled that he would rather have a stimulus deal. The Republicans are finding these executive orders a bitter pill to swallow because they don't like executive overreach. They railed against it with Obama. And now they're in a tough bind about this. They want to get some help to the people. They see it as a good electioneering move, but it is an overreach of the Constitution. To coronavirus news, the Russians today announced that they have a vaccine for COVID-19. Well, it's only been tested on, they're estimating 100 or less people. It still hasn't reached phase 3 trials, so I would take this with a large grain of salt. Putin's been in a little trouble with his approval rating in Russia recently, so he needs a win, and they want to be the first one to get the coronavirus vaccine out there. They've named it Sputnik after their first rocket in space, so watch that space. The stock market, particularly the industrials, the Dow Jones index is up. The NASDAQ, the tech stocks are down. Another day in the life of COVID-19. I don't think it really means much to us. I know the president and the Republicans are really hoping to have a coronavirus vaccine approved by the end of October, so just before the election. That's not really looking likely here either. Phase 3 trials might end at the end of October for some of our vaccine candidates, but they will not be approved until the end of the year. But what is looking good is that we will have hundreds of millions of doses by the start of next year. So everyone by the mid of next year should have herd immunity here in the United States, assuming that the vaccines work, which is really good news. Now, to those $1,200 stimulus checks, it's been noted that as part of the executive orders, there is nothing in there for $1,200 checks, which is what we all want. We know the Republicans want it and the Democrats want it. That will have to come through Congress in a bill. Both in the HEALS Act and the HEROES Act, there were $1,200 checks. So both sides agree about it. The one sticking point it's seeming like now is Mitch McConnell is stuck on these liability protections for businesses, and the Democrats are stuck on the $600 plus up to unemployment. It's been said that these executive orders potentially were a negotiating tactic by the Republicans to force the Democrats back to the table. It doesn't seem to be working right now. We need some sort of legislation here. I really hope it comes through this week. It just doesn't look like... It looks like everyone's in a holding pattern and kind of frozen around the legality of these executive orders. At least a couple of the governors have flat out said they're not going to do it, that being New York and California. So that's your update for Tuesday, August 11. I'll be back when the news breaks. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the figures. That's a comma and a comma.